Hey, what's up, everyone? Back for this Tuesday slate. We have a 5-game slate for today, so let's get right into it. Drop a like down below, subscribe if you have not already. If you want the updates throughout the day, you can follow on Twitter at the DFS Process, and let's get right into it. Starting off here at point guard, at the top, you have the three guys right about the 10K and up range. Harden at 11.4, Lillard, and Westbrook. Out of the three, Lillard's been playing out of his mind, but I never feel comfortable paying this price point for Lillard just because he's never been a 10K player for his career for over a substantial period of time. He's been crushing it lately, but still it's not a comfortable feeling, especially with McCollum back and full strength. So I don't know. I think I'll probably just fade these top three guys unless more value opens up, just because I do like these guys priced in this range. Like Drew Holiday, if Ingram is out, is a great play. I love Chris Paul either way at 68. I like all three of these Thunder players. It would be ranked in the order of their prices on Draftkings. Paul is my favorite, followed by SGA, then Schroeder. And then with McCollum being almost $4,000 cheaper than Lillard now, that's a decision point you have to make. And I think I probably would lean to McCollum at just 6,400. And if DeRozan misses again, or even if DeRozan's in, Murray is a fine option at 5,200. Right now, I like Chris Paul the most at 68. It's just a great price point. It's a good matchup. Should be a close game. They're at home. The Thunder have been playing well as a team all year, and Paul has been carrying them a lot. The guards have been carrying the team a lot. I basically have a core of four guys, Paul, SGA, Schroeder, and Gallinari, that do a lot of the offense, and then you have occasional good games from some of the bench. At shooting guard, it's going to be Zach LaVine at 8,200 is a nice play. Just a nice price point, great matchup. Too cheap compared to some of the other guys like Harden at 11.4. Holiday, if Ingram's out, is a great play. If DeRozan's in, I think he's still a fine option at 7,200. But if DeRozan's out, I think Lonnie Walker got the start yesterday, and he played 27 minutes, didn't do much, but could be worth a cheap flyer. And then for value at this position, it's gonna be like a CJ McCollum at 6,400. Looks good for value. You have not a ton here. You could look at White if you want. Josh Richardson if he starts, or even he's only 3,800. The minutes have been down. He hasn't been playing well, but that's a really, really cheap price tag for Josh Richardson. But really, Zach LaVine is gonna be my guy at 8,200. At small forward, it's Paul George looks good. DeRozan, if he's in. Tobias and Gallinari are both at a good price points. Love Gallinari at that price. And then for cheap, maybe take a shot on Trevor Ariza if you want. Josh Richardson, if he's not going to be limited with minutes, is really, really cheap. But I like Gallinari. I feel like the Thunder are priced $500 to $1,000 cheaper than they should be. Most of their players tonight. And Gallinari is one of them, playing 30 to 1, 33 minutes. Very consistent, very productive. Good shooter, averaging well over a point per minute production on the year if you give him 33 minutes. Should be able to clear you about 6x upside at this price point at least. At power forward, it's Zion looks good at 74. Aldridge is almost a core play if DeRozan's out at 6,700. That's just too cheap for Aldridge. And besides those guys, maybe Hachimura looks good at 48 and Hutchinson at 46. There's some other options to look at. But right now, Aldridge is just too cheap to pass up 67. Even if DeRozan's in, I have no problem paying that price. At center, it's Whiteside at 8,100. Looks good. Zion looks okay at 74. And then Adams, now that he's getting 30 minutes again, could be worth a flyer. 55, but it's really those guys, and then 48 for Hachimura is where I'm really looking at. If you want to punt, you could punt for Mo Wagner at 43. But I really, really like 4,800 for Hachimura. And then at guard here, it's going to be SGA. Just 6,700 is too cheap. I like the pricing on SGA and Chris Paul. Can even throw Dennis Schroeder in the mix, but I want to get probably two of those three. And I might as well get the 2 guys that are starting. So let's go over to Fanduel now. Pretty similar guys I like on Fanduel. At point guard, it's Chris Paul, Satoransky, Murray, the top 3. Really like Chris Paul at 74. At shooting guard, the pricing on Beal and Levine is a lot closer, so you could pay up for Beal if you want instead of Levine. Other guys are SGA, 76. Holiday, if Ingram's out, and DeRozan, if he's in, looks fine. And I got 2 cheap guys right here, Shooter and McCollum. I think these 5 all look good. Try to get 2 out of those 5. I like Shooter probably a lot more on FanDuel compared to Draftkings. With on Draftkings just being $200 cheaper than SGA. Makes sense to try to get to SGA, but $1,000 difference on FanDuel. Shooter has also flashed his share of 40-point upside games, especially as of late. At small forward, it's like Gallinari looks good. Jaylen Brown, only 59, looks good. Tobias, 64. So they're the main ones I'm looking at. And then Hutchinson for value, or Ariza for value is fine. But I like Jaylen Brown if he plays. A great matchup, nice price point, cheap player. 59 is too cheap. Over at power forward, it's definitely Zion and Aldridge I would like to pay up for. For value, it's Hachimura, Daniel Tice. Out of those guys, I think Aldridge is still the best in terms of upside and floor. And then at center, it's really the 2 top guys. Want to try to get one of them. There's a pretty big opportunity cost at center on FanDuel. 2 guys at the top, and then drops off pretty big. I like Whiteside. It's a great matchup. Showing the ability to rack up big-time blocks all year. It's a spot where he can put up 50, 60 fantasy points, and nobody would be shocked. So the minutes he's playing, he's a point-per-minute monster, and it's a great spot. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.